This is a glazing clip from a greenhouse. It's designed to hold the glass in place. It looks to be quite a complicated shape, but in fact it's relatively simple. The main feature is that this horizontal bar here is the part that presses on the glass to hold the glass, and that then bends up and drops down to another point here which is at the same height as the flat piece. So you've essentially got a bend which goes down to the same height, and then you've just got these two wings coming off. In use then, the idea is that this bar here extends onto the glass, and that this wing section here is moved sufficiently far backwards that it can fit into the groove on the greenhouse, and that's really all there is to it. So you've got this 3 points here, so the front part and these other 2 points here, so 3 points that have got to be mostly in plane, and then you've got these two wings here which operate roughly parallel to the initial hold down piece. So really the bending is once you understand these concepts is quite simple, and you can make them yourself if you don't have time to run to the shop or the shop's closed or whatever. The only tools I'm using well, there's the wire, which is a piece, so it's about 2mm. It was somebody fly tipped it, so there's a big bunch of wire tipped in the lane one evening, and I recovered it because it looks like it would be quite useful, and I found this use for it among others. A pair of round nose pliers that allow you to create quite round bends, and then just a pair of ordinary pliers for just any other adjustment. So first of all you need to get a section in the centre which is going to be a flat piece, and then bend the wire up. So you've got a bend there, and then another bend here, whatever length of flat piece you want. In the ones that they use are relatively small. I tend to use a bit bigger of a piece. Doesn't really matter that much. So that gives you your initial bend upwards like this. Now you want to then bend this thing back so that the wire bottom will come and be down to the same level. So first of all you bend it past it, as I've done there. So that essentially is the initial bend, but it's gone a long way past. And then to get the height of the bend to be the same as the bottom section, then you just bend it up like that. So what you're trying to do here is to have this bottom of this bend here the same height as this, and then you do the same thing on the other side. So that's the basic concept of clip. Essentially two bends on either side. Now at the moment this thing is it's got part's got to be in the glass and part's got to be in the recess. So you've now got to bend the recess part backwards. Sure, the best way to do this. So essentially what you're doing now is bending the thing so that the flat piece here can sit on the glass, and that this part here can go into the side of the greenhouse staging to hold the glass, and then the wing should be bent so that they're roughly in line with the flat section that goes on the glass, something like that. Then these wings are really a bit long, so I have a third tool which is a pair of cutters, so it's really overbalancing it, having all that weight on the end. But essentially if it's right, then that should be relatively stable, essentially the same way that this one is here. So that this one, should we do it? So we're not quite there yet. So the way I bent it was I'd really had a bit too much overlap. This bend here is going a bit too far beyond the bottom, that bottom bar, so that needs to be bent up a bit. And then all the thing is again, as I mentioned earlier, has to be bent backwards to give some clearance. And then if everything's roughly about right, it should sit up like that. So this thing here should, these two wings should be roughly in line with the it's easier to do them when you're not having to do a video. So these wings are roughly in line with the piece on the glass connection part here, and they're bent up. Maybe that's a bit too much. Essentially, what I've created with those sets of bends is something that's a mimic of what the commercial variant is. So that bend back a little bit here. Once you do a few, it's relatively straightforward to get them right. It's more difficult when you're trying to do it behind the camera, and but I've done several. It's useful to have the professional one or the commercial one in front of you while you're doing them. But essentially, if the thing sits up like this, like these do here, it'll mostly work. It doesn't need to be bent to very great accuracy. We're not doing SpaceX rockets or anything like that here. So that is a basic procedure, relatively simple and quite quickly, but once you've worked out how to do it. So this is how the glazing clips are used. You shove one of the wings into the side of the, well, it's really better with two hands, but put it into there, and then yeah. So that is the clip installed at that end there with the wing, and then you push the other wing down and you should hear it click. And then to see if the joints, if the connection's any good, use a knife or something thin, and you should be able to not push the knife blade underneath the clip, so the clip should be holding it. It's a little bit weak at this end, but it's plenty of gap, plenty of coverage here. It's like not, the bend is not quite perfect there, but up here the knife's not going under. So that's providing pressure on the glass, stopping the glass from coming out.